When their lives are in danger, police officers legally have the right to protect themselves with deadly force. Now, this obviously applies to armed and dangerous suspects.
But it also applies to animals under department policy. Buffalo police officers can fire their weapons at animals if they're attacked.
Now, it's happening often in this city, more so than even some of the largest cities in the entire country. After we requested the department's use of force records under the Freedom of Information Law, we have learned the police have opened fire on 92 dogs since 2011.
2 on your side, Danny Spiewak dives into the numbers and asks the police department if there's an alternative to firing a gun.
In Cleburne, Texas, they want justice for Maximus.
I see him murdering my puppy, our family, our dog.
In Commerce City, Colorado, they want justice for Chloe.
This is becoming an epidemic in Colorado.
These animals, they become part of your family.
In Buffalo, Iraq War veteran Adam Arroyo wants justice for Cindy.
First dog ever, and she was a great dog.
Buffalo police shot and killed Arroyo's 2-year-old pit bull in June of 2013. Arroyo was at work when officers raided his West Side apartment, searching for drugs, which Arroyo said they never found. Police would later file an incident report, noting the officer fired 3 times at an aggressive pit bull-type dog, killing same.
Just to see her and all the bullet holes in her, it was bad.
Arroyo maintained his dog was chained when he left the house. Police Commissioner Daniel Dorinda launched an internal investigation into Cindy's death because of allegations that his officers accidentally raided the wrong apartment.
How would they feel if somebody ran in their house and did that to them, to their family pet?
But this is not an uncommon scenario. After we requested all use of force incidents from the Buffalo Police Department, public records show that between January 2011 and September 2014, Buffalo police officers opened fire on 92 dogs, mostly pit bulls. Roughly 80% of these dogs died. Police in Buffalo are shooting dogs at a pace of about 24 per year, about once every other week.
Now, we've reviewed the Buffalo Police Department internal records. Since 2011, your officers have shot and killed more than 70 dogs. More than 90 dogs have been involved in shootings. How do you explain those numbers?
Well, again, it's a small percentage of the number of total search warrants executed or actions taken by the police. Calls for service for the police department are often, 1,000 calls per day.
And some of those calls can be dangerous, like when police execute high-intensity raids targeting drug dealers. Sometimes police have no choice but to shoot.
Which is it? The dog? The guy with the gun? What am I going to do? Is the entry team safe? Are the other officers coming in, clearing the path? Is everyone all right? Those are all very less than split-second decisions that get made.
Because of the lack of nationwide data, it's very difficult to compare city police departments to Buffalo's average of 24 per year. After requesting Cincinnati Police's use of force records, they've reported shooting an average of only 7 dogs per year since 2011. The New York City Police Department self-reports shooting 36 dogs per year from 2011 to 2012, and the Los Angeles Police shot only 21 dogs per year from 2009 to 2013. But numbers larger than Buffalo have surfaced periodically, like in Milwaukee and Chicago.
The numbers are what the numbers are. Certainly no officer takes any satisfaction in having to dispatch a dog.
But departments across America are finally starting to look for alternatives to shooting dogs. Even though a jury found this officer in Colorado not guilty after he shot and killed Chloe, this case, along with a few others in Colorado, led to a state law that officers must train for dog encounters. In Cleburne, Texas, the high-profile officer involved in the shooting of Maximus has led to department-wide training with the Combined Law Enforcement Associations of Texas. They'll be joined by a renowned former police officer named Jim Osorio, who brings a live dog to police departments all across the country as a part of his training. He's trained in every corner of the country, including in nearby Ithaca, New York.
I felt the need that police officers need better interaction with dogs on the street other than just taking a gun out and shooting them.
Buffalo Police Chief of Detectives Dennis Richards says officers train through a basic police course mandated by New York State. He says that's where they learn how to handle firearms, and it's also where they learn when it's appropriate to use deadly force in self-defense.
Are they trained specifically dealing with dogs when they're, do they do courses where they have live animals coming at them, that kind of thing?
No.
Why not?
I'm not part of the training program. I don't know, but I don't know if that would be a recommended course of action.
We are seeing police departments that are now looking into this kind of training proactively, preemptively. They do recognize that it's an important part of community-oriented policing.
Dr. Randall Lockwood of the ASPCA gave us a national perspective on training by joining us for a Skype interview.
Your information from Buffalo is not that unusual for some cities, particularly where there hasn't been training.
No, I don't believe I've ever heard of using live animals to illustrate how an officer should act or react.
Jeff Iyer of the American Humane Association is also a former police officer. He trains departments across the country as well, emphasizing non-lethal methods for containing dogs.
Might be use of repellent, there might be use of tasers, things like that occur. And we've seen that throughout the nation where there's different weapons used.
From time to time we've researched to other cities asking them what they do, and some use fire extinguishers, some have used mace or tasers or other devices, but it has not come to that point in Buffalo that we've implemented any of those other techniques.
If you know you're going to run into somebody's house, why not have like animal control on site or use like a non-lethal method? It's only right.
After police shot Arroyo's dog, he moved out of this neighborhood, and police have declined to give us an update on where that internal investigation stands. But Arroyo is not the first person to go public with something like this.
It's hard. It really is.
Ronnie Reiser has filed a formal complaint with Buffalo Police, alleging excessive force and a civil rights violation. While assisting with a drug raid in West Seneca in July, Buffalo Police shot and killed 1-year-old Rocky.
Heard the 2 shots. After the first shot, I heard the dog squeal.
Once again, police described the pit bull as aggressive. In the complaint, Reiser says officers entered my home with a warrant looking for ecstasy, which he says was never found. Reiser says his dog was sleeping when police shot him, and he says police ended up only finding his roommate's small stash of marijuana.
The dog was the happiest dog, just wanted to play, Never hurt anyone, never would.
One of the Buffalo police officers involved in the raid of Reiser's home also shot Arroyo's dog, Cindy. The records show that this one individual Buffalo police officer has shot 26 dogs alone since 2011 and killed all but one of those dogs. This particular officer killed as many dogs in 2011 and 2012 as the entire New York City Police Department. Chief Richards says some officers act as the lead on the entry team and might be in position more often to have to protect their fellow officers.
Nobody it's nothing to be happy about when a dog has to be let go.
Why is it also that 80% of the dogs shot at are dying? That's different than in other municipalities.
I couldn't tell you that either.
Boy.
Ronnie Reiser does have a new dog now, but he still wants justice for Rocky.
Until we get into federal court, it's pretty much their word against mine.
As a comparison, we just mentioned New York City several times as having a very low number of police dog shootings, especially considering the size of the NYPD. And the ASPCA told us that New York City is one of their shining examples of what training can do for a department. The ASPCA does help provide training to local departments across the country, and they do that at no cost. Danny Spiewak, Channel 2 News.
Thanks, Danny. And this is a nationwide conversation right now. The rise of social media has given dog owners a platform, and there's more media attention than ever on officer-involved dog shootings.
And locally, the conversation still continues now. You can access an in-depth written report on our website, WGRZ.com, and you can also watch our full interview with Chief of Detectives Dennis Richards.